Hello guys, Jonah here. Today I want to talk about how to get started riding a motorcycle and what you need to do in order to ride a motorcycle. So you've decided you want to start riding a motorcycle. How do you get started? What do you need first? And what should be your priorities in the decision-making process involved motorcycling? What's up guys, my name is Jonah. I make motorcycle content. I upload twice a week. Generic motorcycle content, Honda Goldwing content, discussions, and soon hopefully some awesome rides. So you guys have decided you want to ride a motorcycle, which is why you're watching this video. So step number one in beginning to ride a motorcycle, you're going to need to choose what kind of motorcycling you want to do. Like, what is your purpose? What is your goal with getting a motorcycle? There's a lot of different reasons to ride a motorcycle. There's many different types of motorcycling, many of which I will make videos on this channel as we go. So do you want to hit the trail with an off-road bike? Are you strictly trying to only do dirt? Are you wanting to do long distance touring on a Goldwing? Are you just trying to commute to the office? Do you want a sport bike because you like adrenaline? Are you trying to get a bike to race on the track? Is that something you want to do? There's so many different kinds of motorcycling, so many different reasons to ride a motorcycle. Are you trying to ride with your friends? You know, those are all valid options, and that's the first thing you need to decide, because that will change the next couple of questions. For example, if you're only trying to be on the trail and you're strictly doing off-road, you don't need a motorcycle license, and the gear you're going to need is going to differ from someone driving on a track, or to someone commuting, or to someone doing a long distance hauling. So that's just something to think about. Step number two, mind you, I am talking about the United States. You need to get your motorcycle license. There's multiple ways to do this. The way I highly recommend, there is something called the MSF, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. They provide a course, basically everywhere. There's something called the MSF. It is a 2-day course. The one I did was 2 days. I think some of them, maybe 3. It might differ some. Basically, it's a course. You don't need to have any previous motorcycle experience at all whatsoever. A lot of times they'll even provide gloves and helmets. But you go, it's a 2-day course. About half of the first day is classroom instruction. The second half of the first day is going to be riding. So you're going to set on a motorcycle. They're going to show you how to start it, how the clutch works, absolutely everything. You're going to start with very slow speed maneuvers, and you're going to progress. Second day is going to be all driving. And as soon as you're done with that, they will give you a certificate. You take that certificate to your DMV, and then you need to take like a 25 question test on the computer, which is super basic because they'll teach you all that in the MSF. And then boom, there you go. You have your motorcycle license straight up. That is, if you already have your car license. I'm not going to get into that. There are some other states, there are ways you can get a motorcycle permit in some states, and Tennessee doesn't have one. And that is basically a motorcycle license with restrictions. I'm not going to get super into the weeds about that. That could be its own video on its own. But basically, you need to have an endorsement on your license allowing you to drive a motorcycle, a little M on it. And obviously, I highly recommend you get your motorcycle license, not just for legal reasons. If you get pulled over, a lot of times it's a super minor ticket for not having it, depending on where you are. But I would highly recommend it because you need to know how to ride a motorcycle if you're going to be motorcycling on the road. Like, the skills are very important. So that's step 2, is get your motorcycle license. Okay, step number 3. You may think that now we're getting into the getting your motorcycle territory, but we're not quite yet. Before you even get a motorcycle, it's important to get gear. Now, this is more of a do as I say, not as I do kind of guy. I have never owned a pair of motorcycle pants in my entire life, and I've only owned one motorcycle jacket ever. And I need to do a lot better at that, and as you will see on this channel, I'm not going to record me going on a trip without having some kind of gear. That's a big caveat. Anyways, gear is very important. If you get hit, if there's something you can't control, you want to mitigate injury as much as possible. There is a lot of affordable gear. There's a ton of options. Depending on the motorcycle you get, sometimes, and depending on the gear you get, sometimes your gear and your helmet might be more expensive than your first motorcycle. Some people say your first helmet should be $300 to $500. I think that's kind of crazy. Like, I've used a $55 helmet for like 7 years now. Like I said, don't do as I do as I say. I am getting a new helmet soon. The review for that will be on the channel eventually. But you need a helmet 100%, and you need gloves, some kind of jacket, some kind of pants, some kind of boot. That's for the most part, that's mostly what you need. For the most part, that's what you need. And yes, you want to get your gear before you get your motorcycle, just to play it safe. Like, that's what I recommend. If you disagree, come at me in the comments. Let me know what kind of gear you like, which gear you think is most important to buy first. Let me know all of that. I'm not super big on gear. Like, I ride a Goldwing, I'll be honest. Like, I go in a t-shirt sometimes, and I do feel bad about it. But roast me in the comments if you would like. But step number 3, get some gear. Step number 4, find your bike. Beginner bike tips. I can easily make entire videos on beginner bike tips. There's probably 10,000 videos on the internet about beginner bikes, which beginner bikes to choose. The beginner bike you choose should go in line with the type of riding you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to cruise, get a cruiser bike. If you're wanting to do sport bike stuff, get a sport bike. If you're wanting to do off-road stuff, get a small adventure bike. But basically, the end of that story is a beginner bike is usually a smaller bike. Not everything is about CCs. Not everything is about height. Not everything is about weight. Not everything is about cost. I would recommend Facebook marketplacing a bike. You can get, I really only know stuff about cruisers, so I've never rode a sport bike in my entire life. But if you want to ride a cruiser, you can get a 2005 Honda Rebel for $1,000. You can get my very first bike, I got a 97 Yamaha Virago. It might have been 93. It was in the 90s. It was Yamaha Virago 750. I bought it for $1,500. Literally pristine condition. Your first bike does not need to cost more than $2,000. I don't think I would ever buy a brand new bike. My mom, she did get a brand new Rebel 300, but I think brand new off the lot, that thing was only like $6,000 or something. So yes, you need to get your first motorcycle in order to be a motorcycle rider. And this process should take you a while. I don't do a lot of research prior as well. Don't just go into a dealership and get the first thing. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody has a different experience level on a motorcycle. When it comes to cruisers, I would really recommend nothing bigger than a 900. That's just me. But it depends. I do know people, their very first motorcycle ever was a Goldwing, and they've done fine. But like I said, it depends on the type of riding you're wanting to do. How responsible are you? What is your budget? And what are you trying to do? And what bike do you want? A lot of people go into motorcycling saying, this is the bike I want. And that is all they ride. Basically, all I've rode is Goldwings for 7 years. So, okay, so now you have a motorcycle license, you have your motorcycle, and you have your gear. Obviously, you also need motorcycle insurance. Most car insurances also offer motorcycle insurance, but with Geico, it's actually like a different plan. I pay $70 a month for my insurance for my Goldwing, and I think that's with only like a $500 deductible or something. It's good insurance. And depending on your size bike and your age, it's just like car insurance, but typically motorcycle insurance is significantly cheaper than car insurance. I know some people, their motorcycle insurance is only $20 a month. So when you find the bike you want on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, get to the person while you're there buying the bike, call the insurance company, and you can get that thing insured before you even leave their driveway. That's what I would recommend doing. So now you're all set up. You got your gear, you got your license, you got your bike and your insurance, and now you're ready to ride. What do you do next? So you've taken the MSF, and that means you know how to ride a motorcycle, right? You've done a ton of drills, and you know how to be in a parking lot, and you know how to get to second gear. But does that prepare you for actually riding on the road, needing to pay attention to cars? So it's just like driving, but there's a lot more risk involved, and there's a lot more things to think about. Especially if you've been driving a car for a long time, the rules of the road aren't going to matter so much. But if this is your first mode of transportation, which is a motorcycle, you're going to be learning the rules of the road, you know, how to change lanes, how to stop at stop signs, everything. Motorcycles are different than cars, and you're going to need to practice. I recommend, like, if you have a neighborhood or if you know of a good neighborhood around you, literally do like 500 laps around that neighborhood over the next 2 to 3 weeks and just get really comfortable, really practice stopping at a stop sign, letting that clutch out, and taking that right hand turn or that left hand turn. Because let's say you're on a hill, there's cars behind you honking, you can get really flustered when there's pressure, and you want that muscle memory to be able to move you through. You don't want to accidentally dump the clutch, have that back wheel go out from under you. The risks of getting something wrong on a motorcycle are a lot higher. If you take a corner too fast and there's no shoulder, you better hope that there's a field of grass or something there. So motorcycles are a risk, and you need to treat it as a skill. People typically, they learn how to drive and they're like, oh, I just drive, and they text while they drive and they do all kinds of crazy stuff. Driving is a chore. Motorcycling should not become a chore. It is a skill that you are going to develop. One YouTuber I absolutely love is Dan the Fireman. He goes over a ton of motorcycle close calls and crashes, and he has a really amazing checklist and safety tools for motorcycle riders. So just because you got your MSF, just because you got your license, doesn't mean your practicing days are over. And now you know how to ride a motorcycle and you've practiced. Now you can get out there and start riding. And I hope you have a ton of fun with riding a motorcycle. And I hope you subscribe, because we're going to go to a ton of fun places, and we're going to get a couple extra bikes, and we're going to do some amazing stuff here on this channel. So comment down below if you're still watching. Do you already ride a motorcycle? Are you wanting to ride a motorcycle? And if so, what kind of motorcycle are you wanting to ride? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.